Welcome back to the channel. In the garage at the moment is this 2016 Kawasaki Z800. We're going to be removing the brake caliper just to clean and check the brake pads. The first thing you want to do is loosen off this retaining pin. This is a brake pad retaining pin. It's easier to do when it's on the bike. And then we need to undo these 12mm bolts. Okay, so as you can see there's plenty of life in the brake pads. You have these little grooves which are there to indicate how worn the pads are. It also helps get rid of any sort of brake dust. I'm just going to take this pin all the way out. There we go. Okay, so we've got our retaining clip. What you can see there is when it's in the caliper, that pin sits on top and it applies pressure down on the retaining pin. So we're just going to take these over to the bench now and give them a little clean. Okay, so these are the main components of your brakes: your pin, your two pads and your retaining clip. Just give them a little clean. I'll just put that on the wire wheel in a second. Okay, that's all the parts cleaned up. I'm just going to give these grooves a little rub through. They seem okay. Okay, when I reassemble it, I'm just going to put a little bit of anti-seize or copper grease on the pin. I'm not going to put it anywhere else. There's a lot of debate on the internet of whether to do it or whether not to do it. It seems a bit of a common misconception that you need to put copper grease on the back of the pads. I think that's a bit old school, especially for old cars, but on modern motorbikes it's not particularly necessary. Okay, so I've just pumped the pistons out ever so slightly so that I can get a toothbrush in there and give those pistons a little clean. A nice clean toothbrush. The wife's going to be furious when she sees where her toothbrush has gone. Doesn't need a lot because it's not particularly dirty anyway. And remember, push your pistons back in. Okay, notice the retaining clip is slightly different on one end to the other. There's only one way it will go in, as these grooves will stick into the bottom portion. So it's just going to slot the pads in, put them in together like that's fine. As you can see on there, a sliver of copper grease. Don't go mad. And we're just going to put the bolts back in. Whether or not to copper grease these, I haven't got a manual for this bike. There's no copper grease on them, so I'm not going to put any on. Okay, so just back the nuts off slightly, pump the brakes to get the pads to holding the brake in, just doing those up again lightly, and now to torque them up, 25 Newton meters. And the pin, 17.2 Newton meters. Okay, so that's your brake pads removed, cleaned and reinstalled. Just repeat on the other side. Thanks for watching.